While everyone's watching the headlines, the best Gulf Access deals in Cape Coral are quietly slipping through the cracks. Now, the Wall Street Journal says Cape Coral is the worst housing market, but that might just make it the best opportunity for Gulf Access buyers like you. Buyer confidence is slipping. Some sellers are panicking, and the result, a market that's shifting again, but not in the way you might think. Inventory is still trending down, especially for Gulf Access homes. Prices actually ticked up slightly last month, a true rebound or just a blip. We'll dig into that. Meanwhile, motivated sellers are back and flexible, especially those who miss their window during season. And buyers, they're pulling back, waiting for clarity. But that's often when the best deals quietly come together. Now, the latest wave of uncertainty is unlocking new opportunities just like last month. Homes that were over $1 million are now closing under $900,000. Waterfront homes under $500,000 are starting to show up again. Sellers are negotiating even on homes with pools, boat lifts, seawalls, and 10-minute access to open water. Now, if you're a buyer, this is your chance to act while others sit on the sidelines. If you're a seller, don't wait for confidence to return. Stand out now while inventory is thinning. I'm Barry Cessna, your Cape Coral Gulf Access Specialist, and in this update, I'll walk you through what's really happening behind the scenes and how to position yourself for success on either side of the transaction. Now go ahead and click the link, call or text like many others have to schedule your strategy session with myself, and let's talk how to make your next waterfront move your smartest one yet. Let's dive into the numbers and break it all down.
Welcome to the Cape Coral Gulf Access Homes Market Update for July 2025. Welcome aboard. I'm Barry Cessna, your Cape Coral Waterfront Realtor. Today we've got a lot of great information to unpack. This market update is for single-family homes here in the city of Cape Coral that sit on Gulf Access canals. So if you're thinking about buying, selling, investing, or relocating here to the city of Cape Coral, this market update will definitely give you some key insight into exactly what's happening here in the Cape Coral market. You know, a few days ago, the Wall Street Journal came out with their report naming Cape Coral the worst housing market in the entire country. The worst housing market in America. And I did go ahead and make a video on that article. I broke it down sentence by sentence, going over every aspect of it, telling you what's true, what's not, and what they got completely wrong. So go ahead and check that video out as well. And let's go ahead and dive into what's happening here for Gulf Access Canal Homes here in the city of Cape Coral for July 2025. Here we go. First up, we have to understand market indicators. This tells us exactly what's happening. If we understand the numbers and what they're telling us, then we can get a better understanding of how the market is going, either if it's going up or down or sideways. So inventory, first thing we look at is inventory. This is all about the supply. This tells us how many homes are available here in the city of Cape Coral for purchase. Median price point, how much are homes actually selling for? 50% of the homes sold above this amount, 50% of the homes sold below this amount. So we track this number, and as it goes up or down, that tells us which direction the market's going. Days on market, how many days are homes sitting on the market prior to going under contract? And then closed sales. How many buyers do we actually have here buying homes in the city of Cape Coral? It may be more than you think. According to the article by the Wall Street Journal, they make it sound like it's a ghost town in Cape Coral and nobody's here buying. However, Gulf Access Canal Homes in the last 4 months, we've sold almost 400 Gulf Access Canal Homes here in the city limits of Cape Coral. So plenty of buyers still here, and we're going to dive into that a little deeper here in just a few minutes. First thing we're going to look at is active inventory. How many homes are actually available on the market here in the city of Cape Coral? So June 2025, we had 771 Gulf Access Canal Homes here in the city of Cape Coral available for sale. March 2025, we had 947. June 2024, 1 year ago, we had 672. So as you can see, from March is basically where we peaked at, 947, right around that 950 mark. And we've actually fallen just in the last few months in inventory to 771. That's a substantial decrease. Even though year over year, we are definitely up, we jumped quite a bit at the beginning of season. A lot of homes went on the market, and a lot of those homes sold, or for various reasons were taken off the market. So let's look at the graph down here. As you can see, last year, year over year, as we go into the fall months, the end of summer and then into the fall, we do see it start to trickle down in inventory. As most sellers know, that we don't have the most amount of buyers here in the area, and then they start preparing for season, because a lot of our drive here in the market is buyers coming down from the north buying, and they often wait until they're here during the winter months. Now, a little secret from me is, if you're planning on buying for next year, you want to be here buying in September, October, November, maybe even the end of August, because that's where you're going to get some great opportunities and you have very little buyer competition. So it's really a good time to be here and a good opportunity to be looking at inventory and potentially buying if you find the right property, because you're probably going to get a good deal, especially if the seller was selling the home throughout season through March, April, May, were not able to sell it, and they were chasing the market down with prices. They kept lowering their price, but they never caught up because they didn't lower it fast enough. And then we hit into this stretch here. And if you find a good property that's available, oftentimes you can negotiate a good rate or a good price and then take advantage of that. Now, as we get into the winter months, then we start to see inventory start to increase once again, as it did in 2025, where we saw a huge increase, and now we're trailing back down once again into June. So I expect us to stay right around between 700 and 800 homes for sale on the market here for the next few months, until we get back to about December, maybe November. We'll start to see it prop up just a little bit. Median price point. So median price point for June 2025 was $730,000. March 2025, $750,000. And this is a surprise right here. June 2024, 1 year ago, our median price point was $717,500. We actually increased in value year over year. Now, I would throw a little bit of caution to that. Don't get too excited about that if you're a seller, and if you're a buyer, understand there's still opportunity available. But this is a strange sign where we saw that median price point actually jump. Does that mean that prices have bottomed out and they're heading back the other direction? I don't believe that's quite the case. I believe they're still going to drop just a bit more, maybe another percentage or two. But it's interesting to see that 730,000 up from 717 a year ago, when we just saw the market, or saw the article come out by the Wall Street Journal calling Cape Coral the worst housing market, prices falling over 11% over 2 years. A lot of good stuff in there, but a lot of wrong stuff in there as well, of which I go over in my video. But one of the things I want to point out, year over year, we're down about 5% on single family homes in the city of Cape Coral. Gulf Access homes tend to hold their value a little better, and that's what we're seeing here. So as you can see, the chart, they did go up June, July, August a little bit, and then in the fall months we start to drop. And then once we got back into season, we leveled out again, and then we dropped in May. We came down a little bit, and now we're jumping back up to 730. So we're going to keep an eye on that. I don't think that's going to jump up a whole lot more over the next few months, but it is a good opportunity to take advantage of. What I would watch for is if interest rate starts to drop. That may be a sign that prices are going to start going up. And then once we get into the buying season next year of February, March, April, prices may start to jump quite a bit at that point in time as well. Days on the market. June 2025, we had 80 days on the market. So you put the house on the market. If it's a good house, it's basically everything's ready to go. It's priced correctly. It's going to take 80 days on the median to sell that house. March 2025 is going to take 65 days, and then June 2024, 1 year ago, it's 55 days. So homes are sitting on the market a little bit longer. And a lot of these homes that are really increasing that number are oftentimes homes that were well overpriced. And what that's doing is that's taking the overall days on market up quite a bit. If a home is well priced and ready to be sold and it's in great shape, then they're selling quicker than that, especially if it's a new construction or it's been recently remodeled. But as you can see the chart here, median days on market, it's gone up, it's got down, it's gone up, down, back up again, and then we really peaked out in May. Look how high that went, and then we're back down here in June. Closed sales. So are the buyers still here? Are buyers still buying? Well, look at this. June 2025, we closed 81 Gulf Access Canal homes here in the city of Cape Coral. That's a lot of home sales. So there are definitely people here, definitely people buying for sure. March 2025, we did 95. And then June 2024, 76, 1 year ago. We actually sold more homes in June 2025 than we did in June 2024, year over year. That's another surprise to me, because this year we've been tracking, we've actually been selling a few less homes per month than the year prior, than 2024. However, June 2025, that number actually increased. And as you can see how home sales go, in May, they quite a bit during season, and then we drop going into the end of summer and into the fall. We mellow out, home sales usually are pretty bad around November, December, January, and then February they start to tick back up again. We really got off to a slow start this February. That was a lot lower than the February prior. Next February, I anticipate that to be much higher, but that kind of set us up for a slow start to the season. However, we rebounded in March, April, and May, and June, and sold quite a few houses. Now, other key numbers that I want you to be aware of. Sold price per square foot was $366 a square foot for a Gulf Access home. 50% of the homes sold above that amount, 50% of the homes sold below that amount. List price received 95.2% of the list price. So whatever the house is listing for, the median person, the average person has been getting about 5% off of that. That is starting to tick up. Now on Gulf Access homes, we have seen it at 93%, 94%. That's starting to tick back up. One of the signs of that, or what that indicates, is that sellers are pricing their homes a little better, getting it right to where it needs to be, so they're not giving as many discounts off the list price. New listings. So in the month of June, we had 117 new listings hit the market for Gulf Access homes. So there's still plenty of options available if you're a buyer. If you're a seller, that number is starting to drop, so there's not as much competition. So we're keeping an eye on that as well for you. But we are still having new listings come to the market. A lot of that is new construction Gulf Access homes as well as resale. Months of inventory, 9.5 months of inventory. This is how many months it would take to completely sell out our inventory of Gulf Access Canal homes here in the city of Cape Coral if not another new home came to the market, based on how many buyers we had in the month of June. So it would take us 9.5 months, which isn't terrible. Now, this number is going to start ticking back up as we get further into the slower months. And it did drop down to about 7 months of inventory here a couple months ago. So at 9.5, we are ticking back up again. And that means that there is opportunity for buyers. Just to give you some insight, anywhere between 4 and 6 months is considered a neutral market. Below 4 months is a seller's market. Above 6 months is a buyer's market. So as you can see, at 9.5 months, we're going back up a little bit there. Okay. This is the numbers for the different quadrants. Let's compare Southeast, Southwest, and Northwest. Now, if you know Cape Coral, you know that there's 4 main quadrants: Southeast, Southwest, Northwest, and Northeast. However, only 3 of the quadrants have Gulf Access Canal. So that's what we're going to dig into right now. Southeast Cape Coral, median price $572,500. 50% of homes sold above that, 50 below that. We sold 30 homes in Cape Coral in the Southeast quadrant. Homes available. Now this is last month, June 2025. Homes available, 295. Months of inventory, 9.8. Now Southeast Cape Coral, you get a lot of canal homes that are direct access, very close to the Clusatcha River. However, a lot of the homes in this area are a little bit on the older side, since this is the original area that was built out here in the city of Cape Coral. Now that the southeast side also has the most accessibility, the most convenience. You have the Cape Coral Hospital there, you have the Walmart, the downtown Cape Coral, TJ Maxx, several gyms to go work out at, and easy access over to Fort Myers by the Midpoint Bridge as well as the Cape Coral Bridge. So lots of restaurants in this area as well. Really the most convenient area to be in if you're looking for convenience. Now, next up is, in the price point, why that's a little bit lower than the other two is because a lot of those homes are older and smaller in this region. Now, next up is Southwest. This is the southwest part of Cape Coral. This is the Surfside neighborhood, the Cape Harbor neighborhood, Tarpon Point, Pelican, those areas there. Median price point $838,000. Homes sold 37. Homes available 337, and months of inventory 9.1. Now, Southwest Cape Coral is often referred to as one of the most desirable areas of Cape Coral because the homes there were built a little bit later than the Southeast. So you do have newer homes there, mainly built in the late 90s and 2000s, early 2000s, and lots of mature landscaping and bigger homes there. So you do have a lot of beautiful neighborhoods, and there are even a few gated communities in the Southwest part. Very small gated communities, but if you like that exclusive and private lifestyle right on a Gulf Access Canal, there are some options there as well. Next up, we have Northwest Cape Coral. Median price $929,500. Homes sold just 14. Homes available 137. Months of inventory 9.9. So Northwest Cape Coral is the area where you'll see the most opportunity for growth. Still a lot of vacant lots there, but however, you can get a nice brand new home there at a discounted price compared to what you would pay in the southeast or southwest part of Cape Coral, and there's a lot more of them. So you do have plenty of options there. Easy access out to open water by way of Matlacha Pass. Also, keep in mind there that you do have a very limited amount of homes there that have city water and sewer, and the rest have well and septic, so which will be converted to city water and sewer likely in the next 3 years. Other key numbers to understand when you're looking at the overall housing market is inflation. So inflation peaked at 9.1% back in June 2022. We're now currently sitting at 2.7%. That increased a little bit over last month. Last month we were at 2.4%, so we're seeing inflation actually increase right now. So we're gonna keep an eye on that. I don't think it's been around 2.7% for several months now. We've been hovering right around 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, but we jumped to 2.7. So we're gonna keep an eye on that. November 2023, 8.01 was the interest rate. That's where we peaked for interest rates. They're now at 6.75% and trending down. So this is a great place to be. Our target is to be below 6.5%. Now I'm convinced if we fall below 6% for 2 or 3 months, then we are gonna see a jump and start to see people come back into the market that have been waiting for interest rates to go down, and that will increase prices. So let's keep an eye on interest rates as well. Unemployment is at 4.1%. Last month it was at 4.2%. Now it's been holding steady there for the last few years, right around the 4%. 3.9, 3.8, 4.1, 4.2, 4.3. So that number's been staying pretty stagnant for unemployment, which is a great thing. People are working, that's excellent, and shows a healthy economy. However, that doesn't help interest rates go down. So these numbers all tie together, and we just keep an eye on them to see what's happening to give us an idea of what's going to happen here in the near future. Interest rates are trending down. They don't expect them to come down much by the end of the year, but we are tracking that. Supply. So current inventory in the city of Cape Coral is 2,994 single-family homes available on the market here in the city of Cape Coral. That's both dry lot homes as well as freshwater and Gulf Access homes. It's a year-over-year increase of 11.2%. So we definitely jumped up year-over-year. However, if we went from 23 to 2024, we saw increases of 25%, 30%. We may have had, well, I don't think we had a 40% year over year, but we definitely jumped quite a bit there, whereas that's starting to slow down a lot. So that'll eventually just even out where we won't have that, and then we'll start seeing going back the other way. So in March, we had 3,500 homes on the market, so we dropped 500 of those homes in the inventory. We sold quite a bit more than that, but just with new homes coming on the market and then homes going off the market, we went from 3,500 homes on the market to 2,994. And I think we're just a few days ago, we're dropping even further now. And then year over year increase 11.2. I expect that to keep staying around the 3,000 mark for the next few months. It will increase once we get closer to season, January, February, and then depending on the buyer demand, once we get into season, that'll dictate a lot of what happens with the inventory. I would like to see us stay around 25 to 2,700 homes on the market at all times here in the city of Cape Coral. I believe that would give us a very neutral market and help both buyers and sellers. So the demand. Population is estimated currently about 242,000 people here in the city of Cape Coral. Next 5 years, we're expected to be to 260,000 or more. By 2050, we're supposed to be over 320,000. We're often ranked as one of the fastest growing cities in the United States as we keep growing faster and faster. And I got a chuckle out of the Wall Street Journal article where it talked about how our streets were empty, that there was no traffic and people were speeding down the roads because there was no traffic to slow them down. And I don't know about you, but with 240,000 people living in a city, there aren't too many slow streets, maybe the middle of the night, but that's normal in most cities. So definitely we have a lot of people living here. It's not a ghost town, and lots of things to do, lots of activities going on all the time. But to say that traffic is pretty easy getting around Cape Coral with as big as we are. However, during rush hour times in the morning and the evening, you do have some challenges going over the bridge to Fort Myers in the morning or back over the bridge to Cape Coral in the evening. And that can be a bit frustrating, but certainly nothing like LA or Denver traffic. So is now the time to buy? Yes, absolutely. I believe that you have a window here right now and for the next few months where now is a great time to buy. There's a lot of options. Now we've already started to see the inventory start to drop off from where it was this summer. However, there are still a lot of homes on the market. It is a buyer's market. We have over 9 months of inventory for Gulf Access Canal homes, and we are nearing the end of summer. Now, everyone knows that in real estate that once you get to the middle of April or middle of August, kids are back in school, we started to see buyers drop off quite a bit. Our snowbird season was healthy through April, May, and June. And then through the summer, we had some families come in that were relocating from the north, and that was good, but now it's going to start trickling off. So if you're a buyer, sellers want to chat with you. They want you to come and talk with them about their properties and potentially give them an offer, and things are happening well for buyers in that respect. Now, as we thin out in inventory, as we get less and less inventory, there may be challenges finding the proper house for you, but compared to where we were in 2022 or 2021, our inventory is substantially much higher. So it's highly likely that you'll find a great house here for you and your family to retire or relocate to the Cape Coral area. So come on down and let's chat. Sellers are willing to negotiate. Definitely, sellers are willing to negotiate. If sellers have been chasing the market down, like I've seen so often here in the Cape Coral market, they start way too high and then they keep dropping their price, but they don't drop it fast enough. And number one, they missed out on the folks that were here during season, the buyers here during season, so they missed those because their prices were higher than the competition. And then in the summer months, June and July, if they don't sell now, they're missing those, and then they're going to go into fall and have a much more challenging time because there will be even fewer buyers here in the area until we wrap back around to February, March, and April. Is now the time to sell? That's a great question, and you definitely need to ask yourself, why do you want to sell? Why do you need to sell right now? Now, I understand there's things that happen in people's lives, personal things. If you need to relocate back north again, maybe your job moved you up there, or maybe you have family up there that you need to go back home. That's understandable. That's why you would need to sell. And so, but if you just say, I just want to test the market and see if I can sell my home right now, probably not a great time to do that. If you say, I just want to, obviously people need to upgrade. I mean, there's different ideas of why you want to sell, but I wouldn't recommend selling at this moment if you're trying to maximize the profit on your home, because it's probably not going to happen. You have to understand what homes are actually selling for and what homes are selling. Right now, new construction homes are selling very well if they're priced correctly. Right now, homes that have been updated, are selling fairly well. Homes with no flood insurance or low flood insurance are actually selling very well as well. And you might say, Barry, Gulf Access Canal homes without flood insurance, is that possible? Absolutely. We have several homes here in the city of Cape Coral that are on Gulf Access canals that do not require flood insurance. Now, you do need to work with an agent that understands how the geography works here and how to give you that information. But oftentimes, Gulf Access Canal homes do come with flood insurance in a lot of the most desirable areas. But we have some very nice areas that I like to point out to my clients that do not require flood insurance. So if that's you and you're concerned about that, definitely let's strategize either way. But you have to understand what homes are currently selling if you're going to sell your house, so you can position yourself against the competition. Strategic selling, so important. Strategic selling is so important right now. You have to have an agent that understands artificial intelligence, social media, how to position your house above all the rest. Now, a lot of agents will tell you, it's just price. You just bring the price down, you're going to sell your house. There's a lot of truth to that. Selling your house is all about price, but there's so many different other components as well. How do you attract the most amount of buyers to see your property? A lot of agents will just put the home on the MLS, which then goes to Zillow, Redfin, places like that. But they're not actively marketing the property. They're not getting the best photos for the property. Maybe they're not getting the twilight photo. That's one that I like to use. If you look at some of my listings, you'll see the twilight photo, which absolutely exemplifies the home and puts it out there. I get a lot of Zillow likes and saves from my properties, and we do very well that way. So if you are considering selling, let's set up a strategic call. If you're out of town and you have your home here and you're not able to be here, I do Zoom calls, so we can definitely meet over Zoom and we can talk about the possibility of selling your home, as well as I can go to your home and take a look at it and review it, and then review what I find and tell you all about what I believe you would be able to sell that home for. All right, that concludes this market update for Gulf Access Canal homes here in the city of Cape Coral. Hopefully you found this information useful. I love teaching my clients all about the city of Cape Coral. I love living here, and all about Gulf Access Canals. Now, if you are an out-of-town buyer or an out-of-town seller, definitely take advantage of our out-of-town buyers program. You can click the link in the description down below where you can book a call with me in order to strategize about your next steps here in the beautiful city of Cape Coral. We have a lot of different opportunities here. So whether you're selling or buying, I would certainly love to chat with you about what your next step is and make it your best purchase yet. Looking forward to seeing you. Have a great day, making real estate dreams a reality here in the city of Cape Coral.